Okay, this is video 3 of the genesis of Gray Music Factory. And in the first video, it was how Steve and I met. Then what happened after that was Steve had a big surprise, which was the 16-track recording studio. And this is video number 3. And this is called Steve Moves to California and Calls Home. Yeah, we changed that to Steve Phones Home.
And so, Matthew,
Yes.
why would you name it as you have named it, Move to California and Call Home?
I'm glad you asked. So, Steve, besides being this incredible musician with a home studio and access to a 16-track studio, one of the most advanced in all the Midwest, he also was the first person I ever met who owned a computer. In fact, he got recruited. He was being recruited by a few people from the Silicon Valley. They successfully recruited him. He runs off to Santa Clara, and I am left in Kansas City without access to the 16-track studio, without a home studio, and now I am writing my songs and recording them on one of those little cassette recorders. And fortunately for me, I get a call from Steve one day, and he says, Matt, here I am out in Santa Clara, and besides my career in computers, I'm still very interested in creating music, and I can't find anybody to work with the way we work together. So he asked me if I would take my vacation, come out and visit, help him with a couple of things while I was there, and with the possibility that maybe I would like it there. And I did. I took my vacation. I came out here, Santa Clara, Silicon Valley, and I too didn't go back home.
Yeah. So the one thing you have to understand is that the first person that I ever wrote songs with was Matt. So I got started on something which I didn't know if it was good or bad or what.
Yeah.
But that was the first person that I started writing with. And again, we hit it off. We were on the same wavelength on a lot of different things. And we would write, we were always productive, and we came up with songs that we both really liked.
Yeah.
And I came out to California, and I just assumed, I would find some other people that could do the same thing. And the reality is it's very difficult to find that person that when you sit down, by golly, you're going to have a productive session, and you are going to generate music that sounds good to you, that sounds good to both of us. And we hope you're going to like it too.
And I can tell you, it is so hard to find somebody you gel with and can be productive with in songwriting that I moved to Los Angeles in order to promote our music and for a couple of other projects. And I can tell you, I never found anybody to work with that was like Steve. I did find some people I worked with. It was never the same. It was never on the same level. And I ended up making that same phone call to Steve years later.
Yeah, I think at some level you have to try and fail with other people before you realize really how difficult it is to find somebody that you can say, gosh, we can sit down and we can write music that we both like. Mm-hmm. And we seem to be able to do it all the time.
Yeah, and we still do.
And we still do to this day.
Yeah.
Now we're crusty old men, and we have tons of stuff on our mind, and we're going to get it out through our songs. It's a lot more interesting now. We have a lot more life experience than we did back when we were in our 20s. But that same fire is inside, and it still comes through our songs. And when we hear it, whether it's a lyric, whether it's a melody, whether it's a chord structure, we hear it, we go, yeah. Anytime something like that sparks, everything just moves into high gear, and it just kind of feeds on itself, pushes us both into overdrive.
And here's the real beauty of this partnership for me is that Steve is this guy that has all these talents. He actually enjoys recording in the studio. Recording, because I met Steve in the Silicon Valley, I ended up setting up my own 8-track studio. I never enjoyed it. I only enjoyed doing background vocals, and it's weird. I always loved doing background vocals. Everything else was kind of a pain, but I love writing. And I would say, as a team, what we love to do the most, even to this day, his right socks.
Yeah.
But with Steve, it becomes a product.
Yeah. Well, of course, yeah, I want to see it turn into something that I can listen to and show it to my friends and all of that. But yeah, it's very exciting to get a little, inkling of a song, a little spark, in your eye, and you think you've got something, and then to chase it and feel like, yeah, this is what I want. Boy, check out this song.
That constant effort to just pull another piece, tell another story, create another picture, another emotional sound, another just a little bit more emotional melody line. If you liked anything you've heard here, if you enjoy listening to us rant on about the old days, give us a like. You know it really helps the YouTube algorithm. If you'd like to follow us, we're going to keep coming up with content. Any comments below, please let us know. We read them all. So, until next time.
Till next time. See you.
Say good night, Gracie.
Good night, all.
Good night.
She's smiling like Elvis when she sees that hot little girl go by, wagging her pelvis just like a guy. These girls just wanna have fun, but I think I'm falling in love. They drive me wild. Cute little lesbians. Cute little lesbians.
Brought to you by Ben Crandall's Bitter Apples. They're cheap because they taste just awful. That's Ben Crandall's Bitter Apples, when you can't afford the good ones.